Hello everyone, my name is Victoria, and today I will be talking about one of the main reasons behind stereotypes of race in America, which as you can tell by the title is labels as a shield. Now, I was particularly intrigued by this topic when we discussed it over the course of the year, because of how stereotypes have impacted me personally in my life. As a Japanese person, and even as just someone of East Asian descent in general, I've come into contact with quite a few stereotypes that Americans have towards East Asians. For example, when I was in elementary school, I was told by kids that I don't look Asian, so they refused to believe I was so, implying that I had to look a certain way to be considered Asian. Now, I guess I should clarify that I am in fact half Asian and half white, but kids have also seen my parents and have commented that I don't really look like them. Therefore, I have to have been adopted. Also, another thing, my hair was a lot lighter as a kid, like, no joke, I was almost blonde, so maybe that threw people off a bit, I don't know. But still, there were kids in my life who just refused to believe I was related to my parents or that I'm Asian. Even a few weeks ago, I was discussing with someone at MVS about diversity and race, and they commented on how I was white, and I clarified that I'm actually half white, but they said that I'm still just white because that's the color of my skin. They didn't care about my background or how I was raised or anything. I'm getting off topic. Where were we? Right, labels. Alright, how does this relate to US history? Well, these memories came back to me when we were discussing constructed characteristics of black people, particularly in Ethnic Notions and 13th. Now, this stood out to me because slavery ended because it was unconstitutional, but not because people felt sorry for slaves. People later used constitutional ways to reduce the status of black people, such as portraying them in media, like in The Birth of a Nation, as rapists, animalistic, and generally as something to laugh at. In viewing this, we discussed in class how these labels and joke-like traits were created so that white people could stay in power by reducing others unlike them to a lower status, which I suppose the shield part comes in, as it represents having available ways to constitutionally oppress black people. Or how in 13th, when people quickly took advantage of the 13th Amendment, which as a reminder states that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction, meaning that free forced labor is only allowed in the US as punishment for crime. People use the new amendment and accuse black people specifically of the littlest crimes, such as littering, to make them work like slaves again through prison labor. Now, for the longest time, I thought stereotypes existed solely to make fun of people, and while they did serve that purpose, they served to raise certain people in society above others. Now, I'm not saying people in my life today are trying to personally reduce my status by making fun of me for being Asians, though that behavior is not absent from our society in the least. But I do think that jokes and stereotypes that originally served that purpose come from influences who did have that intention, and they get passed on through generations. We still portray differences in people as something to make fun of for humor. So I guess the reason why these films, ideas, and concepts stuck with me is because I relate to them personally on some level.